Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast. I don't know, with your host, myself, Jackie, and
Sana.
Hello, everyone. Episode 38.
Episode 38, and happy almost
Yes. Oh, God. Jesus. Yes, summer has kicked off.
Not the weather.
Yeah, not the weather. It is still very gloomy.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell's happening.
I mean, we're still living in Seattle.
Yeah,
is
basically.
What is happening. It's the weirdest year.
It is.
I've never experienced this in my life. I just met somebody the other day that was like, oh, I'm here from Canada. I didn't expect the weather to be like this. And I was like, either did we.
Yeah.
So
you and me both.
You and me both.
Here we are.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Seems like our fall is going to be summer. It seems everything's pushed back.
I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen.
Maybe we just don't have it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we just don't have a summer, which would
Actually,
be.
now I'm curious.
Very,
what
very
is the
odd.
forecast for the week?
No, I saw a.
Wow, we are in the 60s the whole week.
Yeah,
up
cloudy.
till next week. Cloudy 60s up till next week.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening, man. This is like living in Seattle or Portland. So, which again, we pay too much money to live like this. So, what did you get up to this weekend?
Actually, I did go to San Diego on Friday after I taught class, and it was actually sunny in Little Italy. So maybe it's a OCLA problem.
Picking and choosing.
It's picking and choosing. I don't know. The sun was out in Little Italy.
Yeah.
Was the sun out on Friday here?
I don't remember. I think it was a little bit, but not like a ton.
Yeah, I was out. The weather was feeling good. Walked around, ate some food, had some drinks, and then came back Saturday, did a little bit of work for real estate, and then had a lazy day on the couch after all that driving.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, I also did showings and then wanted to have another lazy day.
Yeah.
So enjoyed that. And then today I worked out and saw my dad and my little sisters and stepmom, and now I'm here.
Nice. How exciting.
Yes.
Yeah. Same. Really didn't get up to too much. I feel like I was pretty productive. I had Friday off. So just, did all the fun stuff of being an adult, laundry and some grocery shopping and cleaning and all that different stuff. Because when I got back, it's just, you're gone for so long and you're like, okay, I need to get back into my groove.
Yeah.
So did that Saturday. I was very productive. I went over to my parents' house and I'm helping them go through all of their stuff. My parents are wanting to move to South Carolina. They don't have an actual date, but they've been looking at properties. They've been there multiple times. So basically, my parents, they're not pack rats, but kind of. My dad saves every single piece of paper that he's ever received. I found his resignation letter from a company from 1997. I found his resume. I found all of his pay stubs from 1987, 88, 89, his taxes from the 80s, 90s. I mean,
This
man saves everything. So it's getting them to a point where you're not. My biggest pet peeve when moving is moving trash.
Yeah.
And not trash
No,
that we
I get
think
what you're
about
saying.
it.
Things
but
that you don't need.
Yeah, things that I don't need, and then you haul it and you
Yeah.
box it up, and then you're like, oh, I don't need this. That is my biggest pet peeve in moving. So yes, so worked on that. We were very productive. I'm going back again on Saturday. Our goal is to get all of it done, sold, trashed, whatever, by Labor Day. Yeah, so that was very productive. Sunday church, lunch with the family, which was nice. I haven't seen my sister or my younger sister in a while, so that was kind of nice. Just hung out and then went home and had kind of a lazy Sunday. Just I don't even know what I did. I think I took a nap because that's the point of Sundays afternoons is naps.
Totally.
Succession, if anybody watches that, it was our series finale on Sunday, so that was a big deal for me. And then today, woke up late. I don't know why my body was just no, we're not doing early. And just did stuff again, just putting stuff away in the house and got my nails done.
Nice. They look great.
And now I'm here. So
Wow.
yeah.
Not the normal Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like as I get older, I don't even know if I was younger. Memorial Day's never been like a thing for me. Like 4th of July, I love doing something, but like
no, I mean, it's a long weekend, so I feel like you take a vacation or you go somewhere for the weekend.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never have. I didn't grow up doing that either, just because it's always so packed everywhere and things are so expensive and overpriced. It's just like, well, why would I do that?
To me, it's like Vegas.
Yeah.
We go to Vegas.
We go to Vegas.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I don't know. Maybe I'll shoot for Labor Day. Maybe do something for end of summer. I think it would be fun to
That's also Vegas.
I think it would be fun to like rent a house and just kind of have like a little like weekend beach party with friends. I think that would be kind of like come through, like whoever wants to stay there, but like, come through, barbecue, have fun. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
We
have a few months.
We do. So today's topic is kind of an interesting one. Mm-hmm. It's kind of more of just like a very singular question. But we felt like we could really kind of talk heavily about it because this is something that's definitely pertains to us. And I think some other, listeners, especially those in their 30s and single, or any single in general, I guess.
Mid, late 20s.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So we found a video on TikTok. And
as we do.
Everyone should just know at this point. We always just have these thought-provoking things from TikTok.
I mean, most people do. Don't tell me you don't.
Yeah. That's like the thing now is when people are like, I read an article, aka you saw it on Instagram or TikTok.
Yeah.
Like you really didn't read it.
I had a conversation about this with somebody where it's like, I get all my news from TikTok.
Yes, exactly. So do we want to play the video?
Yes, let's go ahead and play it.
To younger women who are making decisions about their future, and maybe you want to get married and have kids, maybe you definitely want to get married and have kids, this message is for you. Marriage, if that's what you want, and I know people are going to joke and say, never get married, ha ha ha, okay, that's very invalidating to the wants of other people. So if marriage is what you want, what I will say is it's okay if you want that. It's okay if you want marriage and kids. But what I will say is it should be a part of your journey, not what the whole journey is about.
I love that.
And the final destination, the pinnacle of the mountain, the end all be all. Yes, there are women who are 100% happy being a wife and a mom, and I am happy for them. But unfortunately, what we've seen in statistics and what we've seen in life is that a lot of women are not satisfied with that. So what I will tell you is live your life, live these young years, live your life, period, for you and what you want. Go to the college you want, take the job that you want to take the promotion that you want to take, buy the house that you want to buy, move to the city, state, or country that you want to move to. Live your life as if marriage is never going to happen. Do not make decisions based on either a man you have met that's in your life or an imaginary man that you're planning on meeting in the future. I spent 5 years of my life in a marriage trying to convince myself that this is enough for me. And don't get me wrong, you have to offer the disclaimer, I love my kids are not the issue. They're not. Or people will think you're a horrible mom who doesn't like their kids. That's not the case. But I spent 5 years trying to convince myself that I was happy with just this, and I would always pour water on the spark, and I let people convince me that wanting anything outside of wife and mom was selfish, and being ambitious was a bad thing, and you're trying too hard, and it's okay to not want those things, and it's okay to not want those things, but that wasn't my path. And real talk, yes, you can go back to school and study hard and chase the dreams that you abandoned when you were younger. But unfortunately, this is real talk. There's some shit that once you let it pass you by, that opportunity is never going to come. And you will regret that. And then there's some stuff where, yeah, you can get back on the saddle and try for it again, but it's going to be really hard because you're going to have a lot more responsibility this time. So you are the center of your universe. It's all about what you want. Don't worry about breaking up because you want to move and Live your life for you. To younger women,
That's such an interesting viewpoint. Not one that's new.
I think it's the way she's laid it out.
Yes.
Because the amount of women, when I tell you there's over 1,000 comments, the amount of women that are like, I needed to hear this, powerful, I just got out of a breakup. And one girl said, I just got out of a breakup. He asked me to move across the country. I said no for school. And then like a week later, he's with somebody else.
Yeah.
And she's like, I made the right decision. I mean, there's one that is really good. And it says, if you don't find yourself first, it's almost impossible to find your actual match. You'll find a match for the version you thought you'd want. And that is so true.
That is very good of what you thought you want.
Yeah.
Because I think we could both agree on this if we look back at our 20s and think about what we thought we wanted.
Yeah.
And we look back now and we think, what the hell were we thinking?
So I think it's so, like what she said, if you don't find yourself first.
Yes.
Because we do put marriage as such a priority that a lot of times you let go of the things you want in life.
Yes.
Or you sacrifice for a partner.
Right.
There was a comments in here where it's like, I was debating going to school somewhere or staying at my hometown. And this just made things so much easier for me. And it's like, women do sacrifice that. I'm not
Yes.
saying that men never do, but you do think, well, how am I going to leave him? How am I going to whatever?
Yes.
Let me just do what's best for our relationship. And then you
Right.
never put your dreams and your wants and your desires and ambitions into works.
Yeah. No, and I think that is kind of the message of society, right? And I think this is something that women have always tried to fight for, is that we are more than just a wife or a mother, and not saying that that's not valuable.
Yeah.
Because it 100% is. I truly do think maybe the most noble job that a woman could have is being a mother. I think that is precious and that is just it's so impactful, but it's always that I don't just have to be that, or if that's not what I want, that doesn't make me less than. And the message from society and like how we think about, like if you look at just the way society functions, it's focused on married people. It benefits couples. Look at your taxes. We don't get earned income, child credit, or whatever it is. We don't get tax breaks because we're married. We don't get anything because we're single. That's never the message. And so that's why you have so many comments on a video like this, because it's like, oh yeah, that's right. It is just part.
Yeah, that's. I love that she said that. You mentioned that while she was playing it, where it's just part of the journey. It's not the journey.
And I would love to know your opinion. I think that's where I have messed up in my life, is I have made it the pinnacle of, I guess, success in life in a way. Not totally, but kind of. And I think I've also made it kind of the basis of, have I been deemed worthwhile? Which I think society does tell a woman that if you're married, you've been chosen, and that's just like the ultimate. Because I mean, even look at our TikToks when people say, oh, she's going to be living alone with 30 cats.
Yeah.
And this is why no one wants her. No one's going to choose you. Or this, a man wants, they say that constantly. And
True.
it's a constant like,
You're single at this age, it's a bad thing.
yes. And
It's because nobody wanted you. It's not because it was a choice. It was because you weren't chosen. No, you said that perfectly. I've never even thought of that, where it's
yeah, that's we're taught that from a young age. I mean, think about our adolescence, teenage years. It's if you weren't asked to the dance, if you weren't dating somebody, if you didn't have a boyfriend, if no guy had a crush on you, then you weren't worthy. There wasn't, who was celebrating the really smart girl in school? Nobody.
No, yeah.
But what's celebrated? The prom queen. Who gets labeled homecoming queen? Who gets labeled prom queen? Who's chosen, right? Like, and it's, I don't know, like as we found this video where I was thinking about it, I was like, holy shit. This is kind of like a really like fucked up thing in our society because it goes back deep. Like, I don't know when when a woman stops being praised for accomplishments and starts and it turns to that marriage is the ultimate, accomplishment, and that's what you should be living for.
Yeah. Or even when you do get married, it's like, oh, when are the kids? Oh, you don't want to have kids? It's a very like, oh, that's odd of you.
Yeah, it's like, well, why not? And, or like, that's weird. You don't want to be a mother. Like, why wouldn't you want to be a mother? And it's like,
never, why don't you want to be a father? It's always, it's always, why would you not want to be a mother?
Right. Or it's always how to be a good wife, how to make a good home. And I'm not saying that's not valid. Again, like,
it's back to what she said. It's not that we're not saying that you can't have those wants and desires.
Yes.
Because we have those wants and desires.
Yes.
But it can't be your only end all, be all.
Right. So I think that that's a very kind of interesting question that she poses is how would you function differently, or what would your life look like if you knew that marriage wasn't going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, truly. And what were your initial thoughts? I had a lot. So if you knew.
Yeah, if I knew for a fact, as like I've gone through my life right now, I say I'm in an interesting position right now.
Yes.
I'm very interesting because I got out of something long term.
Yeah.
So I feel like me getting out of that long term, I did go into a discovery phase.
Yeah.
And I was dating, which the people on the pod have been listening know. And I feel like in the midst of that, like, yeah, when it comes to going out in places like that, like, I'm not going to sit there and think that, like, oh, maybe I'll meet someone tonight. I'll go to this bar because I think that there's going to be better looking men, or there's going to be so-and-so.
A better caliber of men.
A better caliber of men. Yes. Or, like, I need a new outfit because I need to look good.
Yes.
So I was doing that. I would be lying if I sat here and said that the places I picked to go out weren't purposeful.
Yes.
So I think that was the biggest area where, when it comes to going out. And then sometimes, like, if you didn't have a good night, you're like, oh, I didn't meet anybody. That's why I didn't have a good night.
Yes. Yes.
It was boring.
Yes.
Because I didn't meet anybody.
Yes.
Nobody was good looking.
Right.
Nobody talked to us. I didn't want to talk to anybody.
Yes.
Because I was like, oh, it's a whatever night. I'm over this place.
God, how many times have we said that? Yeah.
So I think the way I would go out socially would be totally different. And I think I've winded that back a lot in the last few months anyways, because I don't go out as much as I used to when I first became single, or even the beginning of the year. I'm not out that much. My goals have focused and shifted more into what I want in life. Because like I'm not on the apps, I'm not talking to anybody, I haven't gone out to LA in a minute. Like I've gone out to dinners.
Right.
But I haven't gone out to like out in a while.
Yeah.
But I think those were the two areas where I really noticed where I was like, well, I do go to those places in hopes to find somebody on that focus of, oh, like maybe I'll find the one tonight, you know?
Oh, yeah. Same.
Versus just like, let me just go out and have fun with my friends.
Yes.
Let's just go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I notice all my friends do this.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Or just women I know.
Yeah. Well, I think just, again, as a single woman, that's because that's what we're focused on. And it's not wrong to want marriage. We want marriage. We want kids, as you said. But I said the exact same thing. I was kind of writing some stuff down, and I said, like, I think I would actually be able to enjoy things more. I would actually be able to go out and enjoy the situation that I'm in, or maybe just have a different experience because I'm not focused on, does my outfit look okay? Do I look okay? Do I look attractive tonight? Am I in that confident mindset? Like, I'm a bad bitch. I have a right to be here. You know?
Or
like,
even like those, I mean, we both have this where nothing is looking good.
Yes.
Where you're feeling not your best.
Yes.
Where you're like, where did this pudge come from?
Yes.
And then it's all because you're like, no, I'm not gonna look good to anybody.
Exactly.
If I feel like I sat there and I was just going out with the purpose of hanging out with my friends, I'd be like, I'll just throw on whatever.
Right.
Who cares?
I wrote that down too. Like I would dress differently. Yeah. I think because it wouldn't be about, am I pleasing to the opposite sex? Am I looking attractive? Do I look thin tonight? Have I done my makeup so it hides my double chin? You know, like, I mean, no, but truly, you know, or I would actually, because I did a little bit of shopping over the weekend because I have like nothing. Well, I say nothing, but you know,
same.
Anyway,
I have nothing.
We all know what that means as women. We have nothing to wear. And so I had bought a couple of things, or actually a number of things that are sleeveless. And if anyone knows me, I hate my arms. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. I dislike the way that they look right now. But I was just like, you know what? I'm just so tired of hiding and you know, being hot or you know
not being able to wear something that you find cute.
Exactly. Not looking like the rest of the girls. That's been an issue my entire life. I've never been able to look like the skinny thin girls. And so I wrote that down too. I said I would dress differently, which is something that I'm trying to change right now. And I'm thankful that we have people, influencers that are saying like, a bikini body is the body that you have. I'm thankful for people saying that we're dressing for ourselves. We don't give a flying fuck. If you don't like my arms, so be it. Like, I don't like them either, but whatever. Like, it's 100 degrees in this bar. You know, so, but yeah, like I would probably just like wear, it wouldn't have to be figure flattering.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
have to take so much time, so much effort.
Yes. I probably wouldn't wear so much black to look thinner. Like, I'm just being very honest.
No,
you know,
totally. It's a very candid conversation, but yeah, I think I wouldn't put so much. I mean, like when it comes to going out, there's like a whole day plan.
Oh yeah.
My routine from when I'm going out versus when I'm going out to meet some friends.
Yes. Oh,
is so different.
Completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different. It's a few hours difference.
Yeah.
Because I mean, prep starts the night before. Like I got a tan. Like I got to, you know, all this different stuff. But no, I thought about that and I was like, you know, I think I wouldn't be so focused on how I'm presenting myself, or what am I looking like. And I also kind of wondered, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I think I would maybe be able to have more authentic conversations with men.
I don't think I would. I don't think it'd be different for me.
That's
where
good.
You felt like you would you can't be yourself.
Well, I think instead of being like, okay, I have to be like charming and I have to be a little bit more like attractive.
You would be how you are with your friends?
Yes, I would be how I am with my friends because it's just like, well, it didn't matter. You know, if I'm serious, if I had a burning bush experience with Jesus and he was like, it isn't in the cards for you, like, you know, didn't write that in your story, I honestly wonder.
I get what you say. You don't feel like the need to be like dainty and
cute
and feminine.
And like, and like all this different stuff. Like I could maybe just truly be my authentic self from the start. But the question then comes about then why aren't you? You know, but then my answer is like, because that's not almost in a way rewarded. And I hate to use that term, but I can't really think of another term.
Yeah.
And it's like, well,
or maybe we think it wouldn't be.
Maybe we think it wouldn't be. I mean, that's very valid. That's a good question, Sana.
Yeah.
Like, or, you know, maybe we think that it wouldn't be. And maybe that's why. So maybe, you know, maybe we do change it up. But I think I would just be I would be unburdened, I think, if to how I function socially, because it wouldn't be about any of that. I think that I also, again, would just be more free to do what I want, to act how I wanted or whatever, because I'm free of how I look to the opposite sex. Am I attractive? You know,
that's a big, am I attractive? I think a lot of things circle around the am I attractive?
Yeah, am I attractive in all different areas? Speech, clothing, face, you know, whatever. And I don't know. I also kind of wonder if I would just, and this kind of goes along with the same of just being, you know, not having to be so attractive, but maybe just, again, like we said, like maybe authentic. I kind of said maybe I would be kinder to myself. I wouldn't be so nitpicky
Mhm.
because I think I pick myself apart because it's like a lot of times, even in the topic of therapy, it's like you should go and get your trauma healed so that you're a better partner or that you're a better partner in the future for somebody versus you should do it because you deserve healing.
Yeah, not for wanting.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm losing my train of thought. But
Yes, but like
yeah,
not for the benefit
of somebody else.
Yes, of someone else or because so that you won't impact your children. It's like maybe so that you can just like be free
Yeah.
and not like cry all the time, or not be so depressed. And and I think there are things that I'm doing, because I think about you too. Like you've pursued Legree,
Mhm.
and that's something that you want, and that's you choosing yourself, and which I admire. And, so I'm kind of just like, I don't know. So I was just thinking about it from all different perspectives. Because like because you talk about this, how you said like, you did break up and that was actually you choosing yourself. I think, honestly, like if you really do think about it.
Yeah.
In a sense, because you knew, because we've talked about this before in the other episode, which if you haven't listened to it, go listen to it now. But how you say like, the next step was pretty much like we were on that road of like engagement, like getting married, and you were like, no, I'm not going to compromise, basically. So like, I guess like my question to you would be like, in what ways then do you choose yourself? Because how she was saying like, choose yourself, like you are the center of your universe. Like, how do you do that?
I think I've just mentally not fixated so much on, I guess without putting it into words, I've kind of felt like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Not sitting here going to say I don't want it, but I want to say within the last few months, and I think also being on Hinge has made me come to this conclusion. Just like, not that I went on that many dates, but just kind of seeing what's out there, kind of dealing a little bit with the bullshit. And then from that point, I'm just like, well, I'm not even like, it's not I don't want to put so much effort into it right now.
Yeah.
And I can't sit here and say, well, somebody's just going to come to me, without putting effort. Because we've talked about it. You have to.
If you want something, you're going to have to put in some sort of effort.
But I think I just focused my energy onto other things. And I will say finding something that I'm passionate about has really helped. And I know that's not easy for people.
Yeah.
To find that passion. Because, for the longest time when people like would ask me, I would hate this question. Be like, what are your hobbies? I'm like do I have hobbies?
I hate that question.
I sound like the most boring person. I like shopping.
Yeah.
I don't like working.
Honestly, my hobbies sound like a 13-year-old girl. I'm like, hang out with friends, listening to cool music, shopping.
Yeah. But I'm going to be honest, that was a question that would make me very insecure when people would ask me, like, what are your hobbies? And I'd be like, wow, I'm a very boring person.
Or one-dimensional
one-dimensional, that's better.
Yeah.
One-dimensional. How do I not have interests other than the normal
the normal basics of like living in relationships, friendships, family, whatever.
I kind of would like to learn an instrument now. Like I want to like broaden my horizons.
Right.
But I feel good now because I've dipped my toes in various things. And I think it just takes putting yourself out there and trying many things and seeing what you click with, because there is much more to life than just work, hang out with friends, shop, sleep, eat.
Yeah.
And it does feel more fulfilling. Like I get excited to go to my work, and I get excited to teach. I get excited for the possibility of opening my own studio. Like I think my focus is so much working towards a goal right now that it makes it easy for me to not be like sitting there and thinking like, where is he? Am I going to find the one? Is there one for me? Because my mind is elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's so easy to keep your mind there when you're not preoccupied with other goals.
Very true.
And I think that's the big thing is find ways to fulfill yourself and be happy and not just rely on, just like she said, don't make it the journey. Don't make it just, without this, I'm not going to feel complete.
Yeah.
And like, I'm going to sit here and say like, yeah, part of me would be bummed, but the show goes on.
Yes. That's the thing is that that's such a great way of putting it. The show goes on, the show must go on. Like your life does not end because you don't have a family, or you're not married. And it is tough. I'm not going to sit there and say, I mean, even now being 37, single, childless, not by choice, it's hard.
It is hard. And I think our perspectives are very different just because I feel like it's only been a year for me and like I feel kind of free in a sense. Not that I was like trapped.
Yes.
It wasn't like that.
No, it wasn't like that.
But it just, for me, I was like, well, it was just happened and this is time for me.
Yeah.
So I think if I was in your situation where I haven't been in a relationship in a long time, where then I would feel like my mindset would be so different.
Right. And that's why I love this video because I feel like it is something that I needed to hear because it is even something that my therapist has kind of, I think, been steering me towards. And I have seen other therapists on Instagram talking about this, about how like your purpose like really actually does impact even like your like the way you function in your brain, like the neurology of it. And then like, which obviously it goes into like your emotions and how like you regulate your nervous system and all this different stuff. And I've recognized that even by adding like the podcast to my life and even like just the simple like, helping, like starting to help my parents and kind of focusing on that. And my sister and I were maybe talking about getting a property for like an Airbnb like type of situation and just like having other pursuits and goals, like add more. Like add like a marriage and a family could be something that you want. But I wonder if maybe as I'm saying this, maybe we stop seeing marriage and family as a goal and more just like it would be nice if that's something that happens.
Yeah.
Versus it being like something I have to attain and a goal and I'm going to win.
And
It's just, it's more just like, I would like that to be a part of my journey. But as anybody I'm sure is married and has children can tell you, it is a lifelong journey. It's not like you get married and you're like,
and I think it's not sacrificing to have that journey.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I are not like this, but like I know so many women that would change their career course or where they go to college or if they got a big job somewhere else because of a partner.
Yeah.
Or because I know it's different when you're married.
Yeah, totally.
It's totally different when you're married with kids, but I'm talking about, when you're a single person just in a relationship, like I'm someone who, it's not an easy decision, but I would be selfish in those situations.
Yeah.
Where I would put my goals and ambitions first and I wouldn't stay somewhere if some big opportunity was elsewhere.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of women struggle with that.
Yeah.
And you can't because nothing in life's guaranteed.
Very true.
And you're going to have so much resentment if that falls through or even towards them in general.
Yeah.
That I could have been here, but here I'm with you. And you can never have that what if. My whole thing is never have that what if. And if that person is meant to be there, then it'll still work out somehow in the end or you guys can figure out or whatever.
Yeah.
But do not sacrifice your goals and your desires for a person.
Yeah. I think that's the one thing that she, that's interesting that she does touch on in the video is just sacrificing yourself for, again, like the imaginary.
Yeah.
That's also a thing is the imaginary because that's like me.
But I think even being in a relationship is the imaginary because you don't know what's are you even going to get there?
Right.
And even if you do get there, you may break up. Like nothing's guaranteed in life.
No,
so
it's very true. It's just,
how are you going to feel if you moved?
Right.
Or if you didn't move, you guys break up and you miss the opportunity of your dreams.
Right. Yeah.
And like she said, I agree with her. Some things you just don't get back.
You know what? That is such a good point. I was just going to say that is there's some times where I'm kind of a firm believer in, if like, especially like in a relationship, if you have an opportunity for a job or something, right, that is an opportunity that you'll probably not get back. Like you either seize that moment or you don't. And if it's gone, it's gone. There are definitely situations and moments in our life like that. But with a relationship, I think sometimes we see it, we categorize it as like, well, this is it or it's not.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, maybe not. maybe you take this job and maybe you break up for a moment, but then maybe you come back together. Like if it really is, and that's where I'm kind of a firm believer in, is that like, if this is something that's important to you and there is just like that love and you're just like, no, this is the person, but maybe it just wasn't the exact right time. Like you can revisit that. Whereas like a job opportunity, like if that's gone, that's gone. And yeah, that can happen with people. Somebody might get married or engaged or whatever, right? But like it's you kind of have to
wait
you have to weigh it out. And
that circles back to me with I don't think there's one person for everyone. Like I don't think
same.
I ever phrased that wrong. I don't think there's just one person for each person.
Yes.
I think you can have many loves of your life.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe some will be stronger than others. But I don't think there's just one. And if you lose that one, well, that's it.
Yeah.
You're single now.
100%. I mean, think about it from people that, this would be actually really interesting to ask people, like, who's the true love of your life? Like, or who was that love? Yeah.
Husband or wife.
Right. But that's the thing. That's okay. To me, I think it's like, that's okay. Like, no, I still have that one love, or maybe not true love of your life. Maybe that's the wrong way to phrase it, but it's just like there is maybe one person that you're like, no, I was in love with that person full force, and I still have a love for them. I'm not in love with them anymore because those are two very different things, as being in love versus loving somebody. But I still think that there are people that are like, yeah, of course, I'm married, I'm happy, I am in love with this person, I love this person. But I still have that, like, my first love.
Yeah.
That's the term I was looking for, the first love. And I'm a firm believer in that as well. I do not believe in the soulmate thing. I think friends can be soulmates. I think, there can be romantic soulmates. I think there's also different versions.
Yeah, that's why I think certain opportunities you can never get back. Yeah. And I agree with you in the sense where if it's meant to work out later, it will, but do not sacrifice.
Yeah, don't
goals
sacrifice.
And dreams. I cannot tell you how many women were in this comment section saying, I wish I knew this when I was younger. Yeah. I wish I knew this before I got married. I wish somebody told me this when I was 19. The amount of women saying that, that,
Yeah, well, I think of my mom, actually. And, my mom, growing up, she would always tell us, like, live on your own, go travel, you don't get married right away, like, go basically kind of have a life, because that's something that she didn't have and she didn't experience. She got married when she was 20 and she was a baby, like, moved from her parents' house, got married in with my dad, all that stuff. And she just didn't even have the, I don't know, just the growing pains of like functioning on your own as an adult, for taking care of yourself fully for the first time, and that was that generation. She got married in the 80s, but from the 70s and 80s, like, that's just what you did. There's girls who got married right out of high school, 18, 19 years old, and like, boom. But basically my mom, because she was 20, she went to school like a little bit, but like didn't get her 4-year degree. And there's times where I think about that, of like, I wonder and I wonder if she thinks about this too. I've never asked her, but I wonder if she thinks about, I think about like, what would her life have been if she didn't subscribe to that, and I know she says that she got married because there was also I'm not going to find anything better. But then also, like, it's kind of just like what you did, what I mean? And that was just...
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a big case of I didn't find myself first.
Yes.
I love what you wrote, is you need to find yourself first. And
yes.
I don't want anyone sitting here thinking that we're saying, don't get married and don't have kids.
Not at all.
That is not it.
Yes.
I think you need to know what you want.
Yes.
And I can't emphasize enough. Find yourself.
Yes.
Before you make such a big commitment.
No, absolutely. And not that can't happen if you do get married, but I think it makes it a hell of a lot harder.
It makes it a lot
harder. Because you're trying to balance being in a marriage or a relationship or whatever while trying to find yourself and then having to try to communicate that to your partner, or then recognizing like how that comment said of like what I thought that I wanted, which creates strife, and you're just like, holy shit, like this isn't what I wanted at all, and I think about my mom, like married at 20, first kid at 21, like this woman did not have that young adult experience, and didn't have an opportunity to find herself. And so then now later in life, I see these differences between her and my dad, kind of night and day. She enjoys going out and doing all this stuff. And my dad's happy to, have his nearest neighbor, 40 miles away, whereas my mom, she's very social and she's very much an extrovert and, wants to have fun, and she likes her quiet time. Don't get me wrong, but her PBS shows, but like, Masterpiece Theater, she loves to travel. She loves to do this. And my dad's like, no, like pass.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
and you think of someone who's really sacrifices. Your mom.
Yes. Like has truly just like, I would just wonder, sacrificed self, and like, but not even just like, oh, my goals, but like, you've sacrificed who you are as a person, just your likes, just I enjoy going here and my partner doesn't, and my kids are I don't, what I mean? Or like,
no, I agree. That's why, I mean, I'm not going to say you can never have a successful marriage this way, but I just really don't believe in getting married young.
Yeah.
I just think you need
I can understand
the growing pains.
I can understand that.
You need to like go through your 20s or whatever.
Yeah. I applaud people that have done it. And I do know people who have and are successful. And I think that that's incredible. To be honest, I'm like, if you've done that and successfully, y'all should write some books.
Yeah.
Because,
I may get different comments on this, but I think a lot of people that have been together for so long and then just end up doing it. I'm saying so long from those periods of when like teenager to like, mid to late 20s, but you're so comfortable with that person that you're like, well, I'm not going to start this over with somebody else again. Because you cannot sit here, and I'm talking from personal experience. I'm a very different person from 18, from 21, from 24 to 26. Like I am very different. So you can't sit here and tell me that you two have not become different people.
Yeah. No, that would be very interesting to hear some perspective from those. Because that's always my question is kind of like, how have you both grown together and in the
those
same
most
direction?
Crucial age of growing.
The age where you start recognizing self and you start finding yourself and recognizing like, oh, I don't enjoy that, or I thought I did and I have no desire to do that, or I thought this is what I want. So I'm always very curious to hear people and to hear their experience of how did you both grow together, grow in the same direction, and not grow apart.
Yeah.
Like that's what I
think my biggest question was like high school sweethearts. That one I really don't.
That is so fascinating to me.
Yeah. Because I can maybe see it, in your 20s. I can maybe, it happens. But the high school sweethearts are the ones that I'm like, how? Like, how are you? You cannot sit here and tell me that you guys are still like. I don't know. I can't speak for them, but and I don't know very many.
Yeah.
But do
if
you?
There's high school sweethearts, married, still together.
I know a few, not personally, but I just know.
I don't know anyone that were high school sweethearts, got married. Personally, I don't know. If we have any listeners.
I would love to know.
High school sweethearts got married very young.
High school is the one that is crazy to me. College, I can kind of see because you guys are I could see.
That's still. I'm fascinated by it, and again, that's not the journey that I would pick. But again, I grew up from a perspective where I saw my mom. I mean, both my mom and dad, which I've always said, and I think I've said it to their face. They had no business getting married at that age. Whether they had no business getting married. Totally, I don't know. But they had no business getting married at that age. Like they really didn't. And I do feel like maybe to each other, but like they really didn't. And so I'm always fascinated by that, because that is really always kind of the question of like, how do you grow at the same rate? How do you grow in the same direction?
Yeah.
How do you not move miles apart, or then recognize that like we're not meant for each other, or like there is nothing really kind of salvageable because we are two very different people. And like, I don't know.
I think it's comfort. I think everybody is afraid of like, well, I'm not going to put another 10 years with somebody else. I'm not going to put another 15 years with somebody else. They think of it as we've talked about it. It's like they think of it as, well, it's lost time versus us saying, why would you put new time
into? Yeah, why would you?
They're doing it the opposite. Yeah, fresh time.
I think of it as a sunk cost. Like it's done.
Yeah,
it's done. I can't get that back anyway, so it is what it is. But I'm not going to invest new time into this. But then again, I've never been in a relationship like that. You know,
I'm not that long.
Yeah, I mean,
but
so
I'm just speaking from personal growth, where I'm just like, if I married a guy that I thought I wanted at 21, I would be miserable right now. If I like married anybody I dated at those years, it's not what I want right now. And maybe that's a me thing.
Maybe.
But I find it very fascinating. Like you said, how do you guys all grow together and still want to be with each other? I want to know if you really truly want to be with each other, or if it's because it's like, well, this is my comfort.
Well, it's like, well, yeah, or maybe if it's a
or this is what we do now.
This is just, it is what it is.
This is what life has told us to do. This is what life
is, and this is, I mean, you know, we're 10 years, 2.5 kids into it. Like,
but the funny part about this, I feel like no one's going to tell me the truth. Even if they're miserable, they're going to be like, yeah, we're a happy
we distort
couple.
their face and like,
they're still going to be like, no, we are happy in love as ever. And I'm like, I don't buy it.
Well, yeah. No, I find it fascinating. And I find it fascinating because, I mean, hell, even if I take, the situation, the pilot, like I truly, fell for this person, and I absolutely could have seen myself like, I mean, in the back of my head, I knew it wasn't correct. So who knows if I would have like got to that point of like going down the aisle with somebody, because that's when it, the shit really hits the fan and you're like, oh my God, what am I doing? But within those within the period of 5 years, I truly thought that like, oh, I could probably like, I could maybe do this, And that was just me just 5 years ago.
No, totally. And I'm talking more like our generation, our parents, it was a very different time growing up.
Very.
It's the access, the knowledge, everything was different back then. I'm talking about people in our generation.
Yeah.
Because it was a very different time back then.
Yes, that back then it was. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
You graduate, maybe go to college, graduate college, get married, buy a house, have a kid, retire. That's it. Like,
I'm talking about people that are like
well, now
under 40,
the millennials.
Yeah, millennials under 40 and.
Well, because again, we're in that generation of like finding self. It's okay to say you go to therapy. It's okay to choose yourself and to say, no, I don't want this. Or for a woman to even say like, no, I don't want to get married right now. Or no, I don't want that. Or I don't want to have children. That's not for me. I just not going to make a good mother, which like I applaud somebody.
I applaud that a lot.
Coming from someone who has the therapy bills to prove how shitty childhood trauma can be. When it's not in the appropriate dosage, I applaud people that can sit there right now and say, I would not make a good parent. I know that about myself. I have even done my healing. I've been on my journey. I'm still continuing. I just know that is just not something for me. I applaud those people.
Much more respectable.
Much more responsible, respectable, just like your limitations, you're staying in your lane, like that you can be the great aunt or whatever.
I don't know if you've been a little bit side topic, kind of, not really. Have you been seeing the trend on TikTok where it's like you see a family photo of everybody they're growing up, the siblings and the parents, and they'll zoom into like what each sibling is doing now?
Yes.
And the amount of ones that I saw where, okay, you might have one drug addict in the family, things happen. But the amount of families I saw that it was like 3 kids in jail.
Yeah.
Or like 3 kids battling addiction.
Yeah.
Or like only 1 normal, but 2 are in jail and 1 committed suicide. And I was like...
Yeah. The generational trauma.
I was like, wow, this is all about being raised. How you guys, how are you all like this?
Yes. Well, and this is something that my therapist and I have talked about and this is why I say my parents had no business getting married that young, because they were still children. Even though my dad was very much he was mature for his age. This is what I will say. He was mature for his age in the responsibility arena, of he had a corporate job. He knew what he was doing. He understood his responsibilities as a man and as a husband and as a father, but he did not take the time to heal from his own trauma and from the shit that he had gone through that was not his fault as an adolescent. Same with my mom. The shit that was heaped on her by my grandmother, coming from a very traditional Hispanic family, she never had the opportunity to find self, to work through that, to find her own voice. They both had no business having children at that age, because that was then they just were like, well, I'm going to raise these kids the best way that I know how. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot that I'm grateful for that my parents gave me. There's a lot of great things that they've instilled in me. But like I joke around, and I do mean it, I've got the therapy bills to show you what they completely fucked up on. And it all stems from the fact that they did not take care of themselves. They did not take care of their baggage, their hurt, their trauma, their unforgiveness, and it was passed down. And in the ways of raising me, the way that they spoke to me, or just not even understanding, I have a child who is incredibly sensitive and is very empathetic and sympathetic, completely functions differently from me. I don't know how to handle that. Not even recognizing that there's like true major differences, not just between your children, but between you and your child. And how do you function in that? That shit carries through. And then, of course, I come from a perspective of I believe in the spiritual. So I believe in spiritual generational trauma. And if you don't cut that shit off, it continues on. But yeah, I mean, insane.
Yeah,
insane.
Insane. My mouth was on the floor.
Yeah.
With some of these. I was
it's
like,
shocking.
You don't really, because I don't hang out in that type of circle. You don't hang out in that type of circle. So me seeing just random people online having families that are like all the kids have some sort of major issue. I'm talking about major issues. I was like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And it really does stem from like people that probably should not have had kids.
Exactly. Or they didn't take the time to find self, right? Going back to the video, to finding yourself, to recognizing who you are, all of the good, the bad, and the ugly, so that you know what you're taking into something. You know who you are. You know what's in your suitcases, You're just walking around.
Yeah. That's why I think our generation has the knowledge, has information, has the access to all of this to change that. They really didn't.
No, that's just very true.
Yeah.
Very true. They didn't have access, and again, therapy was still talked about.
They didn't have internet.
Tones.
They didn't have
internet. They had
right now. I can Google this topic and probably find many articles on it.
Oh yeah. Whereas back in the day, are you kidding me? You asked your parents maybe, but even if you did, it'd just be like, why? Like I remember I was talking to our hairdresser, and he was saying that like, and I think I mentioned this before, I don't know, but he said how like back in the day it was like used as a threat. Like I'm going to send you to a psychologist. I'm going to send you to a therapist. Like because you were like this, like you're going to grow up to be a criminal or something. But no, so it's very interesting to think about like now our generation and. Yeah, now that you have access to all this, like, but getting married young or whatever, like, I'm just very fascinated by it.
You have to, no matter what, like, you got to do what feels right for you.
Yeah, of
course. But just make sure you're doing the decision that's for you.
Yeah.
And not sacrificing yourself for another person.
Right. Well, then again, going back, finding self. It's okay for you to. Center of your universe. I mean, I take that with a grain of salt, but it's okay for your life to be your life.
Well, yeah, there's just like I said earlier in this episode, there are certain areas in your life where you're allowed to be selfish.
Yes. You're allowed to be like.
Be selfish.
Yes. Or like, this is my choice.
Yeah.
And this is what I choose to do.
Cannot emphasize that enough. Be selfish. When it comes to your wants, goals, desires. I keep saying it, but like You got to choose you.
Yeah. Or just be selfish or like find yourself on purpose.
Yeah.
You know, be selfish about being selfish in a way. Like be selfish about finding yourself, about knowing who you are, about being able to say, no, I don't want that. Or even voicing your concerns and just saying, hey, I'm in this relationship, but I feel like if I don't take this, I'm going to regret or I'm going to resent, you know?
Yeah.
So,
and I think even to what we said earlier, you know, going out for wanting to go out.
yes.
And making it about, I want to have fun tonight.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if I meet somebody or not.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of, we're going to sit here and act like we've struggled from this. We still sometimes
God.
do.
I struggle all the time.
I think this is a big one for ladies is go out for the purpose of going out and having a good time.
Yes.
And so be it.
That's
the end,
it.
Period.
That's it. Go to the places that you want to go to, not because it's where men are or a better caliber of men or good-looking men or whatever. Go and have fun. Go and have a good time with friends, whatever that is. And also, maybe then it's a challenge to us to like focus on the friends in your group. Like maybe stop making it about I need to talk to other people, but maybe sit there and like have a conversation with people there, or let's go dance together, you know, like we don't need to go and dance with the guy or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, go and do things that you know, want to do just because I want to learn something new, not because, oh, are there men there? Or, you know, or even
Am I going to meet the one?
Am I going to meet the one? Or dressing how you want to dress because you want to wear that. It's not because you look attractive to the opposite sex. It's because I just enjoy this.
Yeah, if you don't want to wear the Spanx, don't wear the Spanx.
Yeah, if you don't want to wear the Spanx, don't wear the Spanx. That is a challenge for me. Let me tell you, that is a hardcore challenge for me. Because I have been wearing some sort of garment like that since I was like 14.
I mean,
so
Kim Kardashian's a toothpick and still does.
yes.
So.
I mean, well, celebrities wear 2 pairs of Spanx on the red carpet.
Yeah.
So I heard Anna Kendrick say that straight from her own mouth. So they do. But that's what I'm saying. Like just, and yeah, it's because it's not about the marriage. It's not about, that's the goal. That's the pinnacle. That's what we're all after. Yes, we do have to put effort or whatever if there is something that would, in anything, right? If you're losing weight, you got to put effort. You want a new job, you got to put an effort. You want a mate, you got to put an effort, but in the right ways, you know, not sacrificing self because that's the ultimate goal. I love how she said it should be added on to your timeline. That should be something that you experienced, not something that you attained.
Yeah.
I think it's a difference. So
we're going to leave it at that. And I would,
food for thought.
Food for thought. Single or just non-married ladies.
Yeah. Yeah. Guys, gals, anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to hear thoughts. And what does this mean to you? I don't know. Because I just think that it's a very powerful video and such a powerful question. Like if you really did know, or again, or do you really think about marriage as the ultimate goal, or do you think it's about like it's an add-on? You know? So anyway, thanks for coming on this journey with us, everyone.
Thanks for coming on this journey. Hope you guys have a great start to your June.
Yes. Thanks for tuning in. As always, we appreciate it. We appreciate you listening. Wherever you are listening, feel free to leave us a review, rate us. It does help us, and
share our content.
Yeah, share our content. If something spoke to you, would love to hear your thoughts.
Email us,
DM us, whatever. Love the comments. But thanks y'all for listening, and we will catch you on a new episode next week.
Yes, bye.
Bye.